You raised Christian, or are you a convert?
I'm actually convert. So my best friend passed away a few years ago, and ever since then, I kind of looked for like a purpose of what life was. And again, naturally, you end up finding the idea of a higher power and something working above the metaphysical reality, because nothing makes sense if you try and put it down to the point of, well, life is just life and it happens randomly. I always find it weird when people are like, oh, we just kind of spawned out of the sea. We were just there from the sea and back to. I just find that crazy. So no, I mean, I went to a Church of England school. I went to church with my school and whatnot. My actual family, no, not particularly. Got married in a church, did all that, but no, it was mainly my own thing. But even like my sister, she's found her own way into Christianity and Christ and whatnot. And even my cousins, which happen to be half, they found their own way into Christianity, and they brought up around half English, half Hindu culture. So
I'm especially not used to seeing the way you guys have an institutionalized church. And I think often it kind of gives people an excuse to not care, because it's like it's
yeah,
always going to be there. I don't have to have any buy-in because it's kind of all provided there for me. It's a little bit more obvious, I think, in America, where it's like, if you're not donating, the church is going to die. To some extent, it seems like a lot of your churches are being sold off. Is it as wide blown as people seem to be making it? Or is it like, it seems like to me, if I had to guess just based off complete intuition, I would say, are 30% of Anglican churches being shut down and sold off and condemned?
yes, well, a lot of them are actually just being shut down and sold. You can literally walk down and it goes to Leicester. Most of them in Leicester have been sold off now. With the whole like institutionalized, I think again that comes from things like our monarchy, for example. Like we've got like the Archbishop of Canterbury and blah 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 blah. Even outside of our Parliament, directly across the street from Parliament, you've got Westminster Abbey. It's a massive cathedral. So like it's very difficult to mix the fact that we have Christianity in this country, but I think people are being naive to it and go, well, it's not going anywhere. And they go, well, Christianity's dying, religion's dying. We're becoming more secular, more atheist. That's wrong. We're actually becoming more Islamic, because if you look at the Islamic rates, they still increase, even though Christianity's going down and atheism's going up. Atheism's going up because Christianity's going down. But no, it is as widespread as it seems like it is as widespread, and people ignore it because it's better to live in blissful ignorance and say something that might end up putting you behind bars for a few hours for a naughty tweet or something like that.
It's kind of interesting because I think that the atheist, trying to think of what the term is, apathy, I think is probably much more spiritually dangerous as far as getting people sent to hell. I think that actually, when the fight really does come, if a real fight emerges between white Christians and brown Muslims, I think that that actually is going to awaken a lot more people. But it's obviously something, it's like, if we can avoid that type of hardship, let's definitely skip that. um
Yeah, definitely. Like we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. We don't want them to go home. Simple as, really. We want them to go home. We don't want to
yeah.
fight. But I think people forget Islam is a structure it's a political structure, if anything. It's a structure that you're kind of born into, and it builds countries. Christianity builds countries' values, but it doesn't build the parliamentary systems.
Mhm.
But when Islam does, like, you have an Islamic state, you follow a set law around Islam, like Sharia. It's very hard to escape from Islam. It's easy to escape from Christianity because it's your personal connection to God, for example. So I think people are going to struggle when they realize that Islam is a lot harder to take down than we think, because it is so ingrained into their family values, their traditional values, their marriages being arranged marriages and stuff like that, that you need to start looking at it less as a, oh well, we'll become more atheist and we'll do it ourselves, because if you're atheist, you don't have a spiritual connection to anything. At
Mhm.
that point, you're then questioning, am I just racist because I just don't like this brown person? But as a Christian, it's like, this person is following a false prophet. They're trying to attack our foundations and our values, that we
Mhm.
have areas that are being dominated by them, and teaching that kind of literature to their children. That's our spiritual fight against them.
Has it become apparent? Do you think the statistics make sense that Gen Z is more Catholic than Anglican in England?
I don't think it's observable. What I will say is, I think people like, I mean, Catholicism is quite strict in regards to the way that it works, and like you follow an individual. Again, as I went back to earlier, men look for a leader. And I think, I mean, I've not read the stats, but I guarantee if you read the stats, it'll say, especially among men, it's rising. Men look for a leader. They want somebody to give them those values. They want somebody to tell them the way forward. I mean, that's why Islam's so successful. You look towards Muhammad and you follow the church, and Judaism, you follow the rabbi, and blah, 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 blah. Men want that. So I would imagine that, yeah, it probably is more noticeable in regards to Catholicism becoming more populated.
Because of the history, is there any type of anti-Catholicism culturally, or is all that kind of gone by now?
I think there is. I mean, again, like I said earlier, like for example, the pro-life debate, you don't even bring up God during Parliament. If you bring up God in Parliament, you're looked at like you're crazy. So I think there probably is, and people do say it's like, I mean, I've had it from people that I talk to. They go, well, Catholicism's cultish, and a lot of people keep quiet about it. I mean, there was a pro-life march while I was in London this week, and there was flags of the Vatican flying around and whatnot. So people, like, there is a want for it, but there is still a negative view of it. Especially even like the media saying like it's extremist religious ideas, but they would never say that about Islam. They'd never say that about Judaism, because we've got to be quiet about those ones because they're minorities. But if you want to say that about Christianity or Catholicism, well, it's fine for you to do that.
It would seem to me that there would be, because of your parliamentary system, there would be the path for there to be some type of Christian party or a Catholic party but I think it's just, if it's just generally that culturally viewed as just impolite or maybe improper or something, I can see why it doesn't exist. I think the advantage you have is that due to your system, as opinions change, you probably have the ability to, there probably is the ability for something like that to catch traction. But I would assume if you're saying it's that bad now, that's probably a long time coming, or it's not for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to head into a religious state in the UK for maybe 100, maybe 200 years, be it a Christian or a Catholic state. I mean, I'm friends with Steve Laws. Steve Laws is very prominent for like the remigration status in the UK, and he doesn't subscribe to the idea of Christian values. He goes, no, we got to look after our heritage and our land. That's where him and I differ, but we still agree with the main principle there. Our land is built on certain values, and I think a lot of people actually subscribe more to Steve Laws' way of viewing it than mine, because they will look at it and they'll go, Christianity is whatever. They'll call it a fairy tale or blah, 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 blah. Whereas they can see they know their family's values. They know the heritage. They can see the pictures of the world wars, and they've got the uniforms and whatnot. So I think, yeah, we're a long way off of it. There are people like me that care about Christian values, and I do talk about them, and I do, but I don't think that's politically going to win you anything at this point in time.